Welcome to the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Davis. Your eyes don't deceive you. Drop the Mic is at its permanent new home. Boom. Broadcasting. What better way to begin this new era for the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast than for back-to-back weeks? Have a special guest at the top of the show. In 2024, we have been conducting interviews with some beloved people in the wrestling business. Last week, JAC stopped by prior to his match at Squared Circle Champions. And while that event with my commentary will be available on their YouTube channel at a later date. In the meantime, I did connect with someone who traveled all the way there, all the way across the state, just to enjoy pro wrestling, support his comrades, and get to meet the fans, including me. And that's who I want to support. He has an upcoming title defense this Saturday in Lumberton, North Carolina, where he defends the next level pro wrestling heavyweight title against Joseph Everhart. But guys, he's got a lot of stuff going on. Super excited he could join us today. Please welcome to Drop the Mic, Jak Tatum. Jak, man, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. And it's very nice to contextualize me being at Squared Circle Champions like that because I was there for myself. I'm trying to get booked, brother. You know?
Hey,
I just say I'm there to help and support, but nah.
Dude, I mean, like, especially making that trip. It wasn't like it was a wrestling event like right down the road. I mean, how far did you drive for that?
It was just 3.5 hours, something like that from Fayetteville, where I'm at now. So
Dang.
yeah. Full tank of gas.
Dude, just to, set up a merch table and
hang out and shake some hands.
Hey, dude, and super exciting. I'll be posting that picture you and myself took earlier on my socials. But yeah, dude, I got to meet you at SCC, got to talk to you at your merch table, and I
CC's merch table.
CC's merch table. My bad.
I didn't earn one yet.
I was debating like what shirt to wear for the show today. I mean, I have a CC Young shirt from when, she was a guest on Drop the Mic earlier in the year. I had JAC on last year wearing the shirt that he got me. And I'm like, man, I don't have a Jak Tatum shirt. Like, what's going on?
We can work that out. Yeah. I'm about to get a whole bunch of new ones. So I might try to get you one of the new ones. I'm thinking of doing something design off of Billy and Mandy from that old show. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a dumb idea a friend had. Yeah.
Well, dude, I'll buy that shirt, man. Yeah, get it to where I can wear it on Drop the Mic. But dude, you said you made the trip all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina, come to SCC last weekend, where I was doing commentary with my broadcast partner Shane Smith. Is that where your home base is? Is that where you got your training, or where did you go for your training?
It's just where I'm at right now. Out of convenience. I originally trained in Atlanta, Georgia at WWA4 with Mr. Hughes. Back when he used to run the place. Yeah, there's a lot of big names come out of there. Moose, Heath Slater, Jonathan Gresham, a lot of guys just all over. Odinson, love him. Then moved back to North Carolina because I'm originally from Wilmington.
Okay, nice. The home of One Tree Hill.
Yeah. Actually, Joseph Everhart's favorite show. Funny enough.
It's my favorite show. So
you should have him on then. After I kick his head in. But I try to train wherever I'm at, and right now 26 Wrestling Academy is just like it's 10 minutes up the road. It's where I've been carving my teeth pretty regularly. So that's actually what got me to move here is just to get closer to that, as well as closer to a lot of the promotions I'm working at currently.
Well, dude, that's awesome. Wow. I mean, 26 is where CC Young trains as well. But like Atlanta, Georgia, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Gresham, gotten to meet him several times as well. Love the way he wrestles. What attracted you to that school, like relocating to Atlanta just for that school?
The price.
Okay.
It was I was just when I was 18, I was just Googling wrestling schools near me, and all the ones in Carolina at the time were really expensive, and I didn't really have a job or nothing. So WWA4 was just like $1,000 for like 3 years, something like that. So I just scraped up the money, packed up everything I had, moved into a Red Roof Inn across the street from the school, and I lived there for a few months. And got the training and just didn't look back. I didn't give myself a choice to look back, really.
Dude, I mean, wow, that is a super cheap, like, I mean, I just did the math real quick. If it was
Yeah.
1,000 over 3 years, that's like $28 a month. That's
Yeah.
like that's a great deal, man.
Yeah, for the quality of training was insane because we had like the guys like Jonathan Gresham and all of them would come in regularly because they didn't live too far or whenever they were in town. So we'd regularly get to train with all of them. And then Mr. Hughes just knew what he was doing as far as like all the old school stuff. And then like AR Fox would come in and show us all the cool flippy stuff he does. So it was a nice mix of all styles of wrestling.
Dude, that's pretty cool. What was, like, the biggest takeaway from that school, whether it was from Mr. Hughes or if it was somebody coming in like Jonathan Gresham?
Uh, the basics, honestly, they did the basic stuff so well. Like I always describe it as they gave me such a good foundation to become whatever type of wrestler I wanted to become. Um, and it was just the best thing was all the different flavors because you could spend all. We had a luchador ring where it was just all luchadors in there. So if that's what you wanted to do, you just spend all day there, and it was just whatever you wanted to do in the wrestling world, they had you hooked up.
Dude, that's awesome because it's like you don't want to ever go to a school and I mean, this is a wrestling school, this is a university, but like you don't want a cookie cutter method
No.
because then you're not going to stand out.
Yeah.
Like you
You want to
you really
start cookie cutter, but you want to have those options of it later, which is exactly what they did. It was great.
do
Yeah,
that's awesome, and so, you move back and, done a lot of stuff with, 2-6 over there. What do you see as the difference between, like, because North Carolina, like, I mean, this is where I've grown up, this is where I'm born, this is, like, all I'm pretty much used to when it comes to the independent wrestling scene. Like, is there a difference between the North Carolina independent scene versus the one in Georgia?
definitely. Big time, big time. My favorite thing about the Carolinas, both North and South, there's a promotion in like every city. So no matter where you are, you can find work. Georgia, it's a little more select, but it feels like it's like a quality over quantity in Georgia, where the Carolinas are the opposite. Not saying it's bad here, but some of them get pretty rough around here. But Georgia's just, and I think being in Atlanta, especially when I was there, it was like a big city, so all the promotions there were big. They'd bring in big names. I'd see legends all the time at shows that I was going to help out. It was just a,
Wow.
yeah.
And dude, they WWE just announced, I believe last week, that Bad Blood is coming back. And it's going to be in Atlanta. And they had the video of Cody, like, watching with the
Yeah.
binoculars, everything. Like, what do you think that means for, that city to like host that big of an event?
Oh, it's big. Because Atlanta, my experience there, at least, this is like 8 or so years ago when I was training there. It feels like a lot of people there sleep on the how many wrestling fans there are there. Because every event I would go to would sell out, but it doesn't feel like arena shows like WWE, AEW come there enough. So it's a place waiting to be woken up as far as wrestling goes.
Dude, that would be awesome, and I feel like that's a great opportunity, but I think North Carolina is a great, place for you, a great opportunity for, wrestlers like yourself to, have some matches. I heard about, Colby Carino, who infamously had a, feud with John Skyler last year,
Yeah.
like, you and him have mixed it up a little bit. What was it like working
Yeah.
with him?
Oh, that was living hell. I don't know if you've seen Colby Carino wrestle, but it feels exactly like you think it does. Uh, like it felt like the best way I could put it is it felt like the biggest test of my career because he dragged me dead through like almost 30-minute match, and someone counted it once because we chopped each other a lot in that match, and someone said it was like 27 or so chops I took from him. So, it was you can and I think it's on my YouTube, but you can visibly see it like the 20-minute mark. My arms are just dangling, and I'm just still fighting through it. But he's an animal, man. He's a freaking animal.
Dude, I mean, and this is why, like, my buddies who don't get wrestling, they're like, "Oh, it's fake." Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, just take a chop. Like
yeah.
that's all it needs.
Take a chop or a Green Bay plunge off the top rope like he gave me. That killed me.
Man, dude, I remember the Green Bay Plunge. Like, I was a big Mr. Kennedy fan growing up. Um, dude, like watching his moveset. Is there any like wrestler you watched, growing up, and you're like, hey, I want to like adapt some of that stuff into my offense?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot. At first, I was big Edge and Dolph Ziggler guy were like my two guys when I was first starting.
Yeah.
And then I started getting really into the indies, and I found these like really niche guys that nobody really talked about, and I was trying to steal stuff from them because nobody knew their stuff. Like I was watching Johnny Gargano for like a, over a decade at this point, and doing a lot of his stuff. There's the guy the shirt's from, Pinky Sanchez, who's just a weirdo up in New Jersey, and I love him so
Dude,
much.
I
That's
haven't
why.
heard I haven't heard anybody drop Pinky Sanchez in a conversation ever.
No one knows about him. It's the best thing. He's like my little hidden secret.
Oh my
I even do
goodness.
my hair like him and everything, and nobody's picked up on it yet.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That that just like, there's this episode of How I Met Your Mother where, they're like bringing up stuff of like, hey, this is one of your bad habits. And when they bring it up, it's like glass shatters. That
Yeah.
just like had a glass shattering moment, but in a good way right there.
Yeah. No, I met him like right before I moved to Atlanta for training. And then I was such a scrawny little kid. I was maybe like 145, 150 pounds. And he's not exactly a big guy. He's taller than me, but he's also skinny. So something about seeing him succeed in the ring live at the event I saw him at, and then talking with him, and he was just so cool with me. It was just instant connection. And then I've just been stealing his move set ever since.
Dude, that's awesome. You're not scrawny anymore. Like
No.
you went suns out, guns out for the podcast today.
Yeah, I was trying to debate what shirt to wear, and I just landed on this one because it's what I debuted in. So it's a cute
Dude,
little homage.
that's awesome. Who'd you debut against?
Ashton Starr, actually, which
Okay.
he's been on AEW a couple of times, like on when they were doing Dark and some segments and stuff. I think he's been on other shows like Ring of Honor, maybe, but he's like one of those guys that's like right at the line of getting picked up right now. But he trained at WWA4 with everybody, so you'd always debut against one of the other guys there, and I
Yeah.
just got lucky with him because that I beat him too, so that win aged really well.
Dude, I mean, if he does get to make it big, you're going to be like, hey, I mean, I'm next in line because,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm 1-0. Like, we got to
Yeah,
settle the odds right there.
yeah, that's how I feel about Colby too. You know, he's gonna start traveling the world. It's like, hey, I beat him. What? Hey,
Man. I mean, when you look back, I mean, how long have you been wrestling?
uh, 8.5 years, something like that. I debuted October 2015,
Okay.
so I'm coming up on 9 years, which it's crazy to say. It does not feel like it.
Dude, yeah. I mean, coming up on 9 years and doing like a big 10-year anniversary next year, dude. I mean, you probably have like a lot of guys you love to get in the ring with. Is there
Oh
somebody like, I mean, Cody Rhodes, I mean, he had that bucket list of wrestlers like,
yeah.
okay, who do I want to face? I mean, is there people on your list either in the Carolinas or just worldwide to where you're like, hey, next couple years, I want to test myself against those guys.
It's too many to name, honestly. Like, you brought up JAC earlier. I would love to wrestle him because he came out of nowhere. As far as like local guys, he scares the freaking living hell out of me for real. But I would love to get in there with him and see how that plays out. Um, I'd run it back with Colby any day now. But like bigger names, Nick Nemeth is out there doing his thing on the Indies now, so I'd love to get a chance with him if someone would pay the money. But like, it's too many to name. Honestly, I love so many people in this local scene. I'm such a big fan of so many people in this local scene that if I just wrestled them all for the next 2 or 3 years, I could be happy because there's just such a rich talent pool in North Carolina.
Dude, that is awesome. Like, I mean, just thinking about, the North Carolina independent scene, this is why we're spoiled. And I'm sure like whoever's watching right now, I mean, we have people in North Carolina watching. We we broadcast everywhere. Like I know people out on the West Coast watch it. I know people up in New York and Florida and Texas are watching. Just name a couple spots of some of our common viewers. Like, I mean, this is why you need to go out to your local independent shows. And Jak Tatum is going to be defending his NLPW title against Joseph Everhart, whose favorite show is apparently One Tree Hill.
Yeah, he's a dork.
He's a well, I mean, One Tree Hill is pretty great.
You're all right. You're all right.
But dude, like, I mean, and you've been in this situation to where, I mean, you're the champion. So obviously at one point you were a challenger. Like, what's your mindset versus like, hey, I'm coming in, hopefully I can prove myself versus, oh my gosh, like I'm the guy. I gotta stay in tip top shape. I gotta stay at the top of my game. Like, what's the difference between those and what you're looking forward to this Saturday?
It's stressful. The match I'm not too stressed about because I've known Joseph Everhart for like 6 years now. We used to both live in Wilmington and we'd ride around every now and then together to shows and stuff. So I've had my eyes on him for a long time. So I'm not worried about he's not going to surprise me in there, basically. But being a champion is stressful because, like you said, you got to be on the top of your game. You're representing a company. Like, this is my moment to shine and break out from where I have been, especially coming from the last champion, Trey Havoc, who is an unbelievable talent and carried this belt with such prestige, defended against basically all of the best wrestlers in North Carolina. So I got
Wow.
some big shoes to fill, and I plan on doing it Saturday, which is going to be interesting.
Well, dude, yeah, that would be awesome if people want to go to Lumberton and go meet Jak Tatum at his merch table, like I did, even though it was CC Young's merch table. He was like lurching off of the other day. Oh man, and dude, I didn't even bring up like this match, like the one you had with Drew Hood. I mean, I want to see Drew Hood in person. I've seen, James Johnson, Mila Johnson, the Sports Entertainment
Yep.
Empire. I've followed Drew Hood on all his socials right now. You guys had a match not too long ago. I wonder if you guys are like, have something else in the pipeline moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's not getting away from me that easily. The match is cheap plug here. The match is available on my YouTube channel, just Jak Tatum spelled like it is here.
Yeah, right
Find it
there.
there. It's a really good match. I'm very proud of it. But it ended under, we'll say, shenanigans. It's kind of my fault. I just started hitting him with a chair. He made me mad. So
I mean, hey, I mean, that's what we wanted to be as, wrestling fans growing up. We always wanted to hit somebody with a steel chair.
it's satisfying. But he's walking out the building talking about he beat me. He still technically won or whatever. So there's been an inkling of, mm, we'll say, a more intense match down the line, and that's at Alternative Combat Wrestling, based out of Southern Pines. Another great company worth checking out, and they're on the come up right now, especially bringing in guys like Drew Hood, who is just. He's going to get signed any day now, and that's why I want my rematch, because he's about to get picked up by the freaking Fed, and I won't be able to get my hands on him again. So I want to get it now.
Man, and dude, I have friends out in Southern Pines. I mean, John Cox has been on Out of Pocket with me. Chris, his brother, has been on Drop the Mic several times. Chris is a big wrestling fan, him and his younger brother. So I mean, hey, that'd be a great place for them to go see some wrestling if we can get Jak Tatum, Drew Hood rematch. That would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, and they got and CC Young's over there wrestling or dealing with Mila Johnson too. So you get to see the whole sports entertainment empire get their butts whooped because Mila stole CC's title and she's not too happy about it. But that's a whole bucket of worms.
And I have seen CC Young versus Mila Johnson before. That was a treat in of
Oh yeah.
itself. So definitely wow. I mean, the North Carolina independent scene's booming, man. Dude, that's exciting. So I mean, obviously you've had, some people, on your list, but just in terms of like a general goal for you. I mean, we're at the midway point of 2024. What do you wanna accomplish here in the next 6 months before we get into 2025?
The big thing for me right now is I need to buy some new tights. But really, is new promotions. I want to work at as many new places as possible, get my name out there more, network more, hopefully work in some new states. I want to get out west a little bit. I feel like my wrestling style fits in very well with the West Coast style of wrestling. But start North Carolina, build from there. Like you said, Squared Circle Champions where we met. I'd love to get my foot in the door there. They have some
Oh
amazing
yeah.
shows. They have a great talent there. Bunch of guys that I would like to get my hands on. And I'm a true believer that if I get one chance at a promotion to perform, they'll keep me around. They'll want me back no matter what.
Dude, that would be fantastic. Like, because I do the commentary for Squared Circle Champions, being able to, call your I mean, you've already driven there a couple
Yeah.
times, like
Yeah. I'm willing to make the drive.
is we'll make the drive. It would be an honor to call one of your matches. Hopefully it'd be at Squared Circle Champions. That would be fantastic. But yeah, dude. We gotta get Shawn from Wrestling of Destiny here in a few minutes. He's waiting backstage for us. But before I let you go, man, dude, I mean, I'm obviously, you know what? I am going to drop. You mentioned that matches on your YouTube channel versus Drew Hood, right?
Yeah.
You know what? So, since I basically am the president of Boom Broadcasting right here, the new home of Drop the Mic, where we'll do a lot of these interviews. You know what? Send me the link over for the description. I'm going to put it right there for people to find it. Drew
Awesome.
Hood versus Jak Tatum. That way, if you guys haven't seen Jak Tatum yet in person, you can see him on YouTube, and then you'll want to go see him in person, like he will be this Saturday. And honestly, pretty much every weekend. I mean, he's
Oh,
working
yeah.
his butt off. Like, I'm pretty sure he just got back from the gym,
Yeah.
working out. Sun's out, guns out. I got the sleeves on today.
Yeah.
There's no sun over here in this part of the woods. But dude, where else can they find you? Because I'll put that match in the description so they can watch after the episode. But where else can they find you?
I'm on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever they call it now,
Whatever they call
Instagram. Uh, it's all just Jak Tatum. I think my X and Instagram is real Jak Tatum.
it.
I'm really
Okay.
bad at this, but if you look up Jak Tatum spelled terribly, then it comes up. It comes up easily enough. There's not a lot of people that spell their name like this for whatever reason. And if you
Yeah.
go on my YouTube, don't look up the old stuff. Don't watch the old stuff. Just watch the new stuff.
Dude, you know what? I will have to like debate you on that because I mean, me and my friend were talking about it, like, hey, like, do I really want? I mean, this podcast of itself, I mean, this is episode 94. The
Dang.
first 20 episodes I did started this back in 21. I mean, I feel like they were awful. I was like solo. I was like right off of work at like 10:30 at night. I mean, I was yawning half the time. I'm like, do I want people to like listen to this? And he's like, yeah, because people love to see like where you started from
Oh yeah.
and then where you've grown through. So, I mean, they can do whatever they want, but I mean, hey, I mean, go watch some of the new stuff and see how much Jak Tatum's like worked his butt off to grow. And I know the sky's the limit for you, man.
I hope so.
I know so. But yeah, Jak, thank you so much for joining us on Drop the Mic today. Again, we'll have Shawn from Wrestling of Destiny talking some stuff that happened over the last few days with WWE. Like some shocking events have happened. And then I'll have Wayne Thomas in the back end talk AEW because we have the Owen Hart Cup tonight.
Yep.
And we'll find out who's going to All In Wembley. But thank you so much, Jak.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Dude, I mean, it's awesome. Hoping nothing but the best for you. Hoping I get to call one of your matches very, very, very soon.
It'll happen. I'm gonna make it happen. If I
Let's
bully
go.
brother and just hold him down, make him book me. I'll make it happen.
Let's make it happen. But yeah, Jak, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll bring Shawn right in for the Drop the Mic Wrestling
All
Podcast.
right, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Welcome back to the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. Super, super thankful for Jak Tatum hopping on Drop the Mic just right there. You can go follow him on social media. He'll be in Lumberton, North Carolina this Saturday, defend his NLPW title against Joseph Everhart. So if you have a chance, go see him. And if you enjoyed that interview, and if you enjoyed the interview with JAC last week, you can subscribe to our new home, the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel, where you're watching this right now. So it's literally just the click of a button. Help support us, because I have a wrestling podcast on Wednesdays, and my guy who is guesting on Drop the Mic right now has a podcast that will be dropping every Saturday, 10 a.m., like the old school days. But he did drop an emergency pod yesterday on Tuesday afternoon. So I absolutely love that. It's great when we pull out the emergency pods, if you will. So we release a schedule every Monday morning around 7 a.m. showing you what you should be able to expect that week from Boom Broadcasting. And then Shawn's like, I got an emergency pod. That weekend was too lit. I can't wait an entire week. And one of those things that we didn't get a chance to cover on Wrestling of Destiny is Mommy is back. Rhea Ripley returned at the end of Monday Night Raw. And Shawn, I told Mike this when we were doing the nightcap after Raw on Monday night. Like, I was so adamantly against Rhea Ripley dropping and vacating the title, something she's held for so long. She was like a week away from holding the record, and she just had to drop it. And it was terrible. I'm like, dude, you can keep her off TV for the summer. She'll be back for SummerSlam. She is back for SummerSlam. But Shawn, my opinion has completely changed just because how good this Judgment Day story is. Were you surprised to see Mommy back so soon?
I was. I really thought she would come back at SummerSlam. That's what I really thought. I thought they'd wait for the big return there either the night after SummerSlam. But bring her back with 3 weeks to go, they really have done something where now you got that storyline. I mean, hats off to Liv. Liv came in, took the title, and has ran with it and really gave the Judgment Day a breath of fresh air because it was getting stale a little bit with Mommy gone. Now with Liv involved, Dom involved, she's back. I think you set the next 3 weeks up for a good storyline to get you to SummerSlam for that match that everybody's been waiting on, Liv and Rhea, part 2 with the belt on the line. And for Dom.
Yeah, and dude, like Liv Morgan has done a fantastic job, like trying to get Judgment Day on her side. And I mean, this Liv Morgan revenge tour all was about taking everything away from Rhea Ripley, taking away the Judgment Day, taking away her title, taking away Dominic Mysterio. Like this,
and she succeeded all of that, except Damien. She hasn't won Damien over yet, but she's won everybody else over but Priest.
Yeah, I don't know if Priest is going to be won over.
No, he's not going to be. He can see right through it.
Oh, yeah. And it's great because now it looks like we're pulling Damian Priest to the babyface run. We're actually embracing potentially a babyface Rhea Ripley run. Like, if you had to choose, like, who the babyface and who the heel is it so cut and dry with Liv and Rhea right now?
Yeah, it's cut and dry. You know, Rhea's going to go in as the face. Liv's going to be the heel. You know, everybody looks at her as the girl that stole the boyfriend. So she's definitely going in as the heel.
Dude, this gives me like Lita, Edge, Matt Hardy vibes.
Yes.
Just a little less on the realism side.
Right.
But dude, I'm super excited because I mean, with SummerSlam right around the corner, this joke gets made every time. But why not do a custody of Dominic ladder match? Put the title up above the ring and do a ladder match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I mean, who says no?
Well, and that's what I said. That's how you got to end it. But the question is which way you want to go after it ends. If you want Rhea to be over even more than what she's going to be that night, then you got to have Dawn cost her the chance to win and Liv walks out with the title. If you want it to come to an end right now, you put it back on Rhea. I think this is something you can build and run all summer. Dom can cost her the match at SummerSlam. Rhea can be getting ready to grab the title. Then Dom comes in there and just pushes the ladder over. Liv climbs it, wins the belt. She's with Judgment Day. And now you got a hot Rhea that you can run all summer long towards this feud and probably put the belt back on her at Survivor Series somewhere around the fall.
Dude, this is why I loved listening to your debut episode of Wrestling of Destiny on Saturday morning. Because guys, I mean, if you haven't listened to it, like as soon as Drop the Mic's over, it's still on our YouTube channel. Go click on it because Shawn just takes you through like step by step of like, hey, this isn't a hot shot microwave thing. Triple H is cooking. Shawn's been cooking with all his stuff, and he like
Yes.
takes you through like the booking process. I mean, you might as well have just been a booking promoter somewhere in the local indies or something.
But you know, you can run this all summer. You don't have to end it right now. You can stretch this out because Rhea's going to be hot. And if Liv walks out with Dom on the side, I mean, you know, they're booing Dom out the stadium now. Man, they're going to be throwing tomatoes at this guy next time he shows up at Raw. How bad they're going to be at what he does. So this is something you Triple H just put it in the pocket and just let it slide, slow roll all the way till Survivor Series. Then do the big title change there.
Man, and dude, you have content throughout the entire year because
Right.
Rhea Ripley got hurt and Liv Morgan's taken and run with the ball, as we mentioned. Now, I did mention you're pretty good at booking and seeing step by step. We did get hit with some big news, and you kind of covered it yesterday on your emergency podcast for Wrestling of Destiny. The last time is now. John Cena made a surprise appearance at Money in the Bank in Toronto, the same place he actually got booed out of the building because he beat Edge for the WWE Championship in that TLC match way back when and back in 2006. But now he told the fans that this is it. Like, this is the final John Cena run. This will be the last WrestleMania he ever competes in. Apparently, he is going to be doing this tour from January 2025 to December 2025. Shawn, are you? I mean, we grew up on John Cena.
Right, we have.
Like, I mean, just like R-Truth, he's our childhood hero. He's honestly been a staple in WWE, and it's clear that as much as he's done for the business, it has found a way to move past him, and we never saw that day coming.
Right, we didn't.
But what do you think you want to see on this John Cena farewell tour since you're so good at like booking things out?
Well, and I said it earlier on the Emergency podcast, we knew it's time for Cena. 20 years, he's been in and out. Last couple, he's just kind of been on sporadic big pay-per-views, you know, for the big payoff, or when they got to travel overseas for a big payoff to get more ticket sales. So, you know, it's time. And he's ran his course. And I said, 5 years from now, you can look at Cena. Same thing I always say about the Miz. You can look at both of them and say, they are in the category of the greatest of all time in WWE. And with Cena on this last run, it's several matches you can run. Number one, we saw it last night, Punk. You got to run Cena and Punk again. You got to run Cena and Roman again. You could probably run that again on a big one. If you get it, you could probably run, which this will be definitely hard to get, but you probably could try to run Cena and Rock on a big pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. But the main one, you could probably run Cena and Randy on a smaller pay-per-view, not maybe one of the big fours. The one I would like to see him go out in December on would be if Cody's not the champ, Cena and Cody. Cody gets the win, and Cena kind of just walks out that way with putting Cody over, letting everybody know this. Roman's already done what he put Cody over, but letting everybody know this is the guy. This is the one we're passing the baton to. Roman passed it to him. I'm passing it to him. This is the guy to get behind the next 20 years of WWE.
And my dad and I were talking right after John Cena announced his retirement because we were watching Money in the Bank together. And he was like, give John Cena credit. I mean, he has put people over. I mean, the United States title, open challenges. I mean, bringing up Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Neville, like these are all guys that John Cena put a spotlight on for 15, 20 minutes in a match and helped launch their careers because
that's right.
He never forgot Kurt Angle did the same thing for him back in 2002 on SmackDown, and he's paid it forward. So when I look at the landscape, I think Braun Breaker would be a good one.
Oh, that'd be definitely a good one. Putting Breaker over. And, that's what he's going to do this year. A lot of these young guys coming up in NXT, Breaker over. Another one you could probably throw out there, Carmelo Hayes, putting Carmelo over. Be a good, a good Friday night SmackDown match, right? Probably not one for one of the pay-per-views, but a good Friday night SmackDown match of main event, and Cena puts him over. So it's a lot of this young talent, and even some of these old guys, if you want to run on your big fours, to just have a big match for him, that he can put these guys over.
I mean, and the amount of talent on WWE's roster right now is at an all-time high, and
Right.
also doing some of these like matches you want to reminisce. I have never seen one-on-one Randy Orton versus John Cena at a WrestleMania. Like I
I
feel
got
like,
it in my book.
dude, I feel like that has to be the WrestleMania match. Am I
That
wrong?
has to be. That has to be. And like I said, you could end it in December on that pay-per-view with, or either on day one, if he wants to go one more day, day one, Cena and Cody, right there, and let Cody put Cody over and just walk out and say, "This is it, guys."
Dude, I mean, or hey, let's get a little freaky. I know it's not the nightcap or whatever, but how
Shout
about
out to the
we
nightcap.
do shout out nightcap? Mike's doing fantastic work. I
He
mean,
is.
he's staying late up at night. Grant, he's a West Coast guy, so it's not super late. But he's live streaming like 5-6 nights out of the week, doing his own
Exactly.
pod on top of that, doing these guest appearances, working his day job. Like he's doing fantastic.
He's
Editing,
grinding right now.
producing, behind the scenes. I'm hyping him up right now. I gotta hype him up because I'm in the Bloodline Rules championship match for the promo battle that Two Heads One Table is doing. So I'm just little, like boost his ego, and then I'm gonna crash it down when I
Crash
beat
and burn,
him.
right?
Hobble him in the finals. But dude, this could be awesome. Anyways, the freaky idea. What about John Cena having his final match in December in Boston, and you bring back the legendary Starrcade pay-per-view to do John Cena versus Cody Rhodes?
That's what I wanted to see right there. That would be perfect. They did bring it back when they traveled to Greensboro about 2-3 years ago, but it was a house show and they used the day. That's what would be perfect right there. Ended in Boston, ended with Starrcade. Dusty created Starrcade. And what would be a good homage to pay to Cody? Cena put over Cody on Starrcade on Dusty's show.
Yeah, and that's exactly what John Cena's done this later half of his career. Now, the big question is, Shawn, this farewell tour could be one or two things. This could be,
Right.
hey, I'm showing up at these pay-per-views. Hey, I'm showing up at some of these pay-per-views. Or, hey, I'm going to do a farewell tour. I'm going to dedicate my entire 2025 to giving the fans the best John Cena they possibly could. Since this will be the last run, do you see him just hitting the main pay-per-views, or do you want to see him week by week on Raw or SmackDown? Oh, he's really alluded to Monday Night Raw.
Right. I would want to see him hitting the main ones and maybe 2 Mondays out of the bump. 4 would be kind of pushed it because we can't commit him that much due to his other obligations with movies and stuff, commercials. But if he could at least hit 2, especially when they travel into bigger cities, the Chicago's, the Florida tours, when they do stuff like that, the bigger towns, bigger city markets, the Vegas market, when they travel to those, if he could hit those, that would be real special. Hey, if you could hit one in Raleigh, Greensboro, or Charlotte, hey, we're plugging that.
Hey, I would absolutely go to that. I mean, and good thing you mentioned like Greensboro. Sting just had his, farewell tour end in Greensboro Coliseum. I was there at AEW Revolution. Speaking of, I'm about to invite Wayne. He's backstage right now. So I'm gonna let Shawn get out here. But like AEW did it right with Sting.
They did.
And I feel like with Triple H knowing the contributions John Cena has made to WWE inside and outside the ring, I think this farewell tour is going to be done right and done the way that John Cena wants it to be done. So, dude, I'm excited. Like, this will be the 20-year anniversary of him winning his first World Championship, WrestleMania 21 to 41. I mean, you can't write a better story than this.
You can't. And the guy who's been putting in work over 20 years, the last 3 years, you've seen him kind of be sporadic, but for at least 18 to 17 of those years, he was there night in, night out, and working house shows.
Yeah, I mean, dude's put in a lot of miles into WWE, just like Shawn is putting in a lot of miles into Boom Broadcasting. Saturdays, 10 a.m. Yes, that is a nostalgic throwback Wrestling of Destiny podcast. He kind of goes throughout the week. Hey, how would I have booked this? Did they go about it the right way? He does a really great job of analyzing, has a couple water breaks in there, of course.
That's right, water break.
Yeah, water break. There we go.
Never know.
We got to do it now. But yeah, catch him Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Wrestling of Destiny. He already has a couple podcasts, including the Emergency podcast, where he goes more in depth of Money in the Bank and NXT Heat Wave from this past weekend that got uploaded yesterday. It's still available on our YouTube. I got to let Shawn go. He's a busy guy, but I'm about to invite a guy I met at Sting's farewell match, Greensboro Coliseum, waiting in line for a couple hours. Mr. Wayne Thomas. I'm going to bring him in, and we'll talk AEW because we had the Owen Hart Cup finals tonight and see who's going to All In Wembley. Shawn, thank you so much, and let's go ahead and bring on Wayne.
All right, Mike.
What an episode it has been so far. I mean, we had Jak Tatum at the start of the show interviewing him before his title defense against Joseph Everhart at NLPW in Lumberton, North Carolina this Saturday. I just had Shawn from the Wrestling of Destiny podcast, all the stuff he's been doing. He dropped an emergency pod yesterday and agreed to come on Drop the Mic today. And then I got Mr. Charm City Nitro, Wayne Thomas in the building. Also, our newest admin to the wrestling movement team. What opening line would you like to grace our presence with today?
Hey, man, it's been a fun week of wrestling, whether you've enjoyed what's going on or not. Woo, man, I tell you what, it's been wild to watch. I'm excited to talk about it.
Dude, I know like weather's always like the if you don't have anything better to talk about. We do have something better to talk about.
Yeah.
How is the weather been there for you guys?
About 95 degrees right now. It's hot.
Yeah, okay. It's been the same with us too. Because man, it never fails. Like I just got this new job at a co-working space here locally and was like, okay, you know, like I do the podcast there sometimes, either Drop the Mic or Out of Pocket. And I had all these like dress pants. I was like, oh, I'm gonna look so fancy. Now I'm like, ain't no way I'm putting dress pants on for months now. It's all shorts, and I'll sneak some gym shorts here every now and then. But one thing that did get snuck into our programming this past week, it was 7 days ago from today. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked, Wayne, that MJF turned heel. Now, I never thought I would be saying that I'm shocked that MJF is a heel. And I never thought I'd say that I was shocked that they turned him heel, because I always thought he was going to be a heel. And then this natural thing with Adam Cole blossomed over the past year. And then Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom turned on MJF right before he went away to heal from his injuries. MJF returned to, take Adam Cole out. I mean, of course, Adam Cole's still recovering from a pretty serious broken ankle. But dude, I was like, okay, we're about to see a really good babyface run for MJF, put some people in his way before Adam Cole's fully healthy. And no, they just go ahead and disregard everything they've built between MJF and Adam Cole and say, hey, let's have MJF enter this feud with Dane Garcia / Will Ospreay, turn MJF heel, and we'll just disregard whatever happened with Adam Cole. Wayne, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I don't want MJF to be a heel right now. Am I I know this isn't Tuesdays on Top Rope Tuesday for Out of Pocket, but I don't think I'm out of pocket for that.
I think you are.
You're out of pocket for thinking I'm out of pocket, because it's not out of pocket. It's Drop the Mic. Now calm down.
So here it is. Here's the deal. It made 0 sense for MJF to come back to AEW after he got screwed by one friend to make another friend. Him turning heel makes absolute sense. Now, I don't know if I would have picked Daniel Garcia for him to screw over, because Daniel Garcia is nothing but a hard-working guy who's showing that he wants to do his best at AEW, and he's very over with the audience. But maybe it makes sense because it gets the reaction. Because let's face it, whether MJF's a heel or a babyface, we love him. He's our scumbag. So it doesn't matter if he's a heel or a babyface. He's still MJF. He's still the picture of what AEW wants to be. He's still the top guy. So I think it makes perfect sense for MJF to be like, hey, you guys really think I was going to trust somebody else after what I've just been through?
I get your point with trying to, say, okay, like, MJF as a heel, like he's not willing to trust anybody after Adam Cole like broke his heart. Like MJF even said that in a promo a few weeks ago that he's never trusted anybody again. But at the same time, you have a gigantic roster with a lot of good heels that you could have had MJF square off with during the time. Heck, if you wanted to, like, what's Wardlow doing right now? What's Roderick Strong doing right now? Like, MJF could fight his way through the entire Undisputed Kingdom until Adam Cole's healthy, keeping this story fresh and alive. Like, what WWE just did while Rhea Ripley was on the shelf. And continuing that story, what WWE's done with CM Punk on the shelf, Seth Rollins on the shelf, and what they've been able to do, like staying with those stories. It feels like AEW's just disregarded perhaps the most invested storyline I've been with in AEW for quite some time. Because, like, I've been ready for MJF to come back to get his hands on Adam Cole.
Yeah. I think that's still going to happen, obviously, at some point. But at the same time, let's face it, the lead up to who the devil was fantastic. It made us tune in over it. We couldn't wait. And then everything just started going terrible for the Undisputed Kingdom, injury after injury. And then, it wasn't working. And AEW is not known for full-blown storytelling and being patient with their stories. And when the Undisputed Kingdom thing wasn't working and it got delayed because of all these mishaps, I think you're probably right. They scrapped it. When Adam Cole comes back, and he certainly will, I think there's going to be that match and there's going to be that heat between them both. But as far as the other Undisputed Kingdom, it feels like they're not even a fraction of a faction anymore. There's nothing to do with them other than Roderick Strong and his buddies. But besides that, you're like Wardlow, all them. Where are they? What happened to them? I feel like AEW, it didn't work, so they scrapped it, and they're not being patient with it and seeing it out. But who knows? Because AEW does this thing too, where it seems like they're not telling a story, and then they'll put it right back in there later down the road, and then we're like, oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope, because, like, man, if we never get the payoff, and that was the whole thing about MJF re-signing with AEW, is like, we need the payoff for MJF versus Adam Cole. But I wonder how they're going to transition MJF back to a babyface and get that same genuine reaction from the crowd when it is time to pay off that Adam Cole feud, if it ever happens. And I mean, I'm just obviously, like, Dr. Britt Breaker just returned from, injury / health concerns. So super excited about her and what she and Mercedes Moné are about to do. But, like, Adam Cole, I'm just really hoping for, like, good health from him, because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world when he's healthy, one of the best storytellers in the world when he's healthy. I mean, we saw that last year in Wembley. We saw that in his NXT Black and Gold era. Man, I just want Adam Cole back on my screen. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I think, and the point that you gave with AEW, with how much talent they have right now, I mean, that's probably what they're thinking is, what can we do to get people talking about MJF again? And certainly they did it. And we're talking about it.
Hey, MJF will always dominate the headlines, just like All in Wembley will hopefully dominate the headlines. We're going to find out who is competing for the world title and the women's world title at All in Wembley this year, the Owen Hart Cup. And I will say, I went ahead and said it. King of the Ring was like, hey, whoever wins King of the Ring is going to have a SummerSlam opportunity. And then it was like, okay, whoever's going to win the Owen Hart Cup is going to have a world title opportunity all in Wembley. Okay, like, copy the homework, but change around the wording a little bit. But I'm still excited because, I mean, the women's side, we have Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. Nightingale just dropped the TBS title to Mercedes Moné. Do you think whoever wins tonight will, obviously, or a title shot, do you think it's Willow's time to step up, or are they going to just go ahead and put Mariah May versus Toni Storm at Wembley?
It's Mariah May versus Toni Storm at Wembley. Absolutely. I love Willow. She's had it before. I think the writing has always been on the wall for Mariah May and Toni Storm to have their go at things. It's gonna be great. I mean, Mariah May is so talented. Obviously, so is Willow, but it's awesome to watch her and them two clashing together. And I early prediction, but I think Mariah May is going to take it from Toni Storm at Wembley.
Okay. So you think Timeless Tony ends right there? Wow.
I don't think Timeless Tony's going to be done. But
the title reign.
Absolutely. I hope they never end Timeless Tony.
Dude, and I'm saying, like, she's one of the best, period, now.
I was talking to a friend earlier and saying, because it's rare in wrestling these days where we get that old school character work that we're seeing with Timeless Tony, because there are no like Undertakers anymore or stuff like that. People are kind of a version of their own selves, and here we have this character of this movie star. It's fantastic, and it's so fun to see that again in professional wrestling.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's been so refreshing, especially the work she's done to introduce Mariah May right at the start. Like, the American fans weren't familiar with Mariah May, and then over the course of these last few months, like, now they know who Mariah May is. And if it is Mariah May versus Timeless Toni Storm, I'm sure the European fans will absolutely eat that up in attendance. But I mean, I was on record of saying they should have pulled the trigger on Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland at All In Wembley. I'm still sticking to my guts, but now we have either Hangman Page getting his hands on Swerve at All In Wembley once again, or we're going to get Bryan Danielson and perhaps his final All In Wembley appearance against Swerve Strickland for the title, a championship that Bryan Danielson has not held yet. Wayne, I'd love to see Hangman. I'm a big Hangman guy. But I've seen Hangman Swerve before, and it was great. But man, Bryan Danielson can tell a story. If it's not going to be Will Ospreay, I want it to be Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I want it to be Hangman.
Okay, just disagree with me. Why don't you?
It's too good not to do it again. Like, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And he's just, that feud has been awesome. I mean, especially the promo Hangman did the other night after Collision, where he's saying, this guy came into my house and you guys loved him for it. I had to move, like, they're not going to be able to create that heat with Bryan Danielson. And it's already there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hangman's what, 0 for 2 against Swerve?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think Hangman's going to take it from him if he goes. So it's one of those things where how many losses do you want to keep handing to Hangman with Swerve? But I want to see it again. Why not?
I mean, they put on an instant classic last year at Full Gear. That death match. I mean, drinking the blood. I mean, going all the way back to the Brood in that way. Oh man, like it was good. But man, Bryan Danielson, this is the last hurrah. And Shaw and I just talked about John Cena and his last hurrah over the course of the next year for his farewell tour. And I'm like, man, give me the nostalgia. I mean, you and I went to Sting's last match. Like, give me Bryan Danielson in the main event.
I certainly wouldn't hate the match. I'd be super pumped for it. But I just think there's so much going on with Hangman right now for them not to go that route with it. And I know Bryan Danielson's on the record as saying, listen, I'm not here to take championships. I'm here to elevate guys. And so if Bryan Danielson does, I know there's this idea, let's put that title on Danielson before he retires and whatnot. But I don't necessarily know if that's what he wants to do. But Sting didn't want to do it either. So sometimes you just do what's good for business. So we'll see what happens.
You do what's good for business. And also, like, I mean, that would mean Swerve retains that all in Wembley, and that's not a bad thing. But having a win over Bryan Danielson really helps solidify and legitimize your championship reign. So we'll have to see how all of this goes into effect. What an episode for Drop the Mic today. Had Wayne talking some AEW, had Shawn from Wrestling of Destiny talking WWE, had Jak Tatum, another one of our interviews we've conducted. We obviously talked JAC last week. That's why I repped his, another one of his shirts. This is the one he wore last week during the interview. I mean, Drop the Mic, wrestling in general, but Boom Broadcasting. The entire industry is in a boom period right now. Super excited. I am going to take the night off. If you guys remember, Drop the Mic from a few months ago had Lodi, former WCW superstar, on. I will actually be at his Weight Room Revival event tomorrow evening, Thursday, around 7 p.m. Oh yeah. I mean, Wayne doing his best Lodi impression, but I mean, I can't. I can't. He does have a gym, so I might hit that gym up. That is where the Weight Room Revival event's going to be. So there will be no out of pocket on Thursday. Just as a reminder, we will be back on Friday for that. But I mean, tonight you can catch Mike from Mouthing Off with Mike with his Wednesday night Dynamite nightcap, talking about who won those Owen Hart Cup finals. You can catch SmackDown nightcap as well. We have all our stuff on demand on the Boom Broadcasting channel. Go follow the wrestling movement because Wayne doing phenomenal work is one of our new admins on the team. And yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to the new home Boom Broadcasting. Thank you guys so much for spending your Wednesday with us on Drop the Mic. We have to get out of here, and whatever you do, don't drop the mic. We will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.